Hello and welcome to Lightwalker Healing. I'm Jenny, and today I invite you to welcome a special guest. Her name is Erica J. Lester, and she's a multidimensional business mentor. And just hold on while I welcome her in. And here she is. Hello, Erica. The magic of
Hello.
technology. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So before we get started, I'd really love it if you'd take a moment and just introduce yourself to everyone.
I love this question because I seem to answer it differently all the time, which I guess is kind of in my title, right? So my name is Erica. I am what I like to call a multidimensional business mentor, really passionate about helping people bridge kind of the very 3D action oriented, like manifestation co-creation with different dimensions and different versions of themselves, and really being able to channel and create from their limitlessness. I have a pretty wild and extensive background in business and in corporate, and of course in this online space. And yeah, I'm just really passionate about helping people who have a big calling and want to or feel called to turn that into a business. Really reach the people they're meant to reach and have the income they're meant to have and all the good stuff.
I think that's why we connected on Instagram, because we have some similar goals and
That would make sense.
yeah. And I find the best people on social media. It's fun to talk to. So I'm really happy to meet you in person. Um,
Yeah.
I know when we kind of like we're chatting about money, because that's kind of a big thing. I thought, yes, let's talk about money
Yeah.
and your take on what the biggest challenges are, because that's what I think right now, especially in this economy, like for people to understand money's everywhere is
Yeah.
is they don't believe me when I say it, but I'm like, no, literally, it's everywhere.
Literally.
And you're in
Well,
it if you want to be in it.
yeah. And if you think about it, like it's never been more true than it is right now, because the majority of our money is just zeros and ones on a computer somewhere. Like it literally doesn't exist. So it as any other form. So the idea that we're somehow limited in, these bits and bytes is just it to me, it's kind of hilarious. I actually have a background in IT, so maybe that's why I'm going down this rabbit hole. But it's like the idea that like somehow there's a finite limit on it is just kind of mind blowing right now.
Well, it's beyond 3D. It's like 2D, right? It's like
Yeah,
here's my
literally.
brick of gold, and
Yes.
there's only 5 of them.
Yeah,
So you get one, 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 and everybody else doesn't get one. And that's
yeah,
not how it is
absolutely.
anymore, for sure.
Mm-mm. No, and there's like so much potential, right? I mean, even if you still are kind of, and I find myself here too, right? It's like even if I'm still feeling limited by like what I learned growing up, or what I was taught was really the truth about money. It's like even if you're in that, if you look around at all of the ways that you can actually create money now, like there's billions of ways. Like I was driving down the street the other day, and there's like a lottery billboard or whatever, and I think it was at like over 800 million, and to me I was like, the lottery is going to break a billion at some point. Like it's going to break $1 billion. There's going to be $1 billion jackpot for like a $2 ticket you can buy. And if that's not a sign of like money, massive amounts of money are literally everywhere.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And I'm not saying you got to go out and try to win the lottery. It's just like as an example,
Right, exactly. Well, so if we get you just had me curious. So what do you think is the biggest, like as you were growing up, what were you indoctrinated as? Like what were you told about money?
Yeah, money's probably been one of the biggest spiritual growth categories I've been through. Like I've been through the ringer, where it comes, put myself through the ringer where it comes to money, right?
Mhm.
But I have amazing parents. We actually were pretty well off when I was really small, and then lost everything. And that
Oh,
cycle kind of continued through my life and I replayed that cycle as an adult as well, of like, oh, money is really easy to create, but you can't trust it. Like
That's
It'll just
interesting.
disappear. And one day you'll be poor and then you won't know how to put food on the table or whatever. So as we know, this is like a pattern that I've played out in my life and really had to like look at was it something I wanted to keep going, you know?
Yeah.
So it's for me, it's not so much about the making the money as it is about, like the feeling of really at its core, it's like the feeling of not feeling safe, right? Like if I
Mm.
don't have a lot of money around and I'm not continuously like creating more, then there's this real feeling of like, I don't feel safe because to me, that was the experience, right? Like we
Mhm.
lost our money. We had to leave, we moved to a different state. I left all my friends. All of our stuff was gone. Like my parents split up. Like I just didn't didn't feel safe. And I think that's true for a lot of people, right? It's true for like a lot of people look at money as safety, and whether that's having a steady job or that's having $1 million in your bank account or whatever it is, it's this idea that like if I have enough of it, then I'm safe.
That's
And
so interesting, because that just speaks down to that one of those core limiting beliefs about, well, safety and security and having enough or being in control. That wasn't my experience with money growing up. Mine was we never had any money. So I never
so that felt
equated it with
safe.
safety. Yeah, I never equated it with safety. I was like,
Yeah.
I just was struggled more with the it's it's everywhere but with me. Like it's very separate
Mm,
from me. It's
yeah.
I mean, my dad was a minister who worked for peanuts but we lived in the wealthiest neighborhood in a town where I mean, all my friends were getting skis for Christmas, and I was getting oranges in my stocking. It's like
Yeah.
I was like, "Why don't I get skis?" And they're like, "Oh, honey, that's everybody else has money. We don't have money." And that's what you believe. You believe what what you just
Yeah.
said, but the pattern that you replayed was the pattern you grew up seeing.
Yeah.
And so
And
did I.
I don't know if there's ever a time where this is something I've been really like curious about lately and in inquiry around. It's like I don't know if the pattern ever actually goes away. Right. I think there's this idea in the spiritual community and the personal development community that you're gonna heal that pattern and then you'll be fine. And then you'll be good and then you'll have all the money. But I don't think that's actually true.
I agree.
My work, my personal work, right? The work I do with my clients, the work I've done on myself with my mentors, hearing their stories. And these are people who make, eight, nine, 10 figures a year. Maybe not 10. I don't think any of my mentors are to 10 figures yet, but um it's still there. So I think this is like the idea that we're somehow healing ourselves of this these experiences, and once we do enough healing or we do enough, we do enough of the things
Yes.
to fix the problem, then
Yes.
we'll be good is such a racket.
Well, it
Actually.
is, right? Because, they call it a wound, right? And it's like, well,
Yeah.
what if it's not a wound? What if it's just a scar?
What if it's just part
And you
of
move
me?
on.
Like,
You move on.
yeah.
You just go, "It's a part of me." And then
Yeah.
exactly. I really like that. And you're
It's a
right,
part of me.
especially in spiritual circles.
Yeah. This just
Absolutely.
this just came to me. Like it's a part of me, but it's not something that gets to control the life experience I have. Right? Just because it's there doesn't mean it gets to control how I experience money or whatever else it is.
Right. Well, that's why I call it a scar because I'm thinking
Yeah.
I had skin cancer, so right here I have the scar that I remember when it happened, I was like, "Wow, my whole face is ruined now, great." And, I had to go through all this, self-esteem work to just be like, "You know what? It's my face, and, like, it's still fine." It's like,
Yeah.
I'm grateful it's not worse, and
Yeah.
it's just there. But I don't really think of it the way I always used to think of it when it was newer, you know?
Yeah.
And every day I forget I have it till every morning I look and go, "Oh, yeah," if I notice it, but I don't notice it every day. So, yeah, if you can not notice I do think though I love how you're pointing out the spiritual community though, in the sense of like I hear this a lot too. why aren't, especially as a coach, I, why do you charge so much, or why would you charge so much to people, who are struggling and having problems?
Mm.
And, if you're supposed to be doing good, you should be free. And I'm like, it's not how it works.
I love this conversation because you want to talk about wounds, if we're going to call them that, is the idea that, like, and this is so prevalent because I work with so many people who have amazing gifts, right? And they do amazing
Yes.
work for people, and they're struggling to pay their bills, or they're struggling to feel good, or they're struggling to show up for their clients because they're just freaking tired. And
Yeah.
it's this idea that, and there's so many examples of it in history, but it's this idea that, like, if you're really a good person and you're really heart-centered and you're really like motivated by helping people, then you have to give up all your worldly possessions and live in poverty. Because
Right.
if you own anything, or you like money or whatever, then all of a sudden by default you aren't altruistic, or you aren't someone who's actually heart-centered. You must be in it for the money. And it's
And
keeping so
greedy and
yes,
bad things. Yeah.
it's keeping so many people broke. And I actually really struggled with this when I first opened this business, because prior to this I had another business that was um, a project management consulting company. So I ran large scale multi-million dollar projects, right? And so charging multi six figures personally, like personally receiving multi six figures a year for doing that work, that
Yeah.
was expected, right?
Right.
You could see the ROI, you could like lay it all out on paper and do the calculations, and like, yeah, so I it was okay to make that kind of money. But when I went into something that was meant to help people, all of a sudden I had it. And I was like, but she's really struggling. And I was doing things like crazy payment plans, right? Like, I had a girl who bought something, and I think she was paying me like $15 a week, which is going to take her the rest of her life to pay off. Like, I was doing stuff like that because
Yeah.
I did feel bad. I felt bad for people
Yeah.
and I wanted to save them. And I think that's the core of it, is like putting ourselves in the place where we are the savior and someone else isn't capable of taking care of themselves. And
Yeah.
actually, what you're doing, and I think this is so important for people to hear, you are allowing someone to give their power away. You are condoning them stepping into the shoes of, I can't do this myself. I'm not capable, and I need you to save me. And
Mm,
that is the worst thing we can do.
yes, absolutely. Talk about disempowering.
Yeah.
Well, the way that I got through any feeling, I don't remember that being a huge problem of mine, but I do remember feeling it when I started coaching a little bit, because people would say it to me, and I was like, "But where would you go?" And oh, it's free. Like, what is the whole vibrational match?
Yeah.
That to me, I'm like, it's vibrational match. If you're aligning with me, and it's not up here, down here, it's just if we're aligned in alignment, it's going to work. And if it's not, we're not there, and it's okay. It's in the dial, kind of.
Yeah.
It's, there's other people that you're going to vibrate with that's going to be fantastic, and that's your vibrational match.
Yeah.
And saying, and feeling, the real belief that people were self-selecting, oh, what a load off.
Yeah.
I don't have to go try to, get people to come to me, or,
Yeah.
and I tell people that, don't do that. Don't try to, because think of the energy. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That's not good energy.
No.
Just
No, and
feel
you
it.
invariably will regret it, because the way you start it is the way it goes, right? Like, when you step, the energy you're in and the energetic vortex you're in when you're stepping into something, that's what you're getting back, right? Because you're a vibrational match for it. So,
But that's something
no.
I'm still finding so interesting, and I forget it, even though I know it and I can talk about it. When I do like, if I do an offer, or I'm like, I don't, I think from the head more.
Mhm.
And I'm catching myself now, oh, you know what? I didn't put myself in the right energy for
Yeah.
that. I was thinking it, I was logical as hell,
Yeah.
and well intentioned, and from a heart space, but not from
Mhm.
a energetic space.
Yeah.
So that's where I think I'm still kind of growing into that realization of everything you do. It's easy to do, like, when you wanna, today I had a friend say, "Oh, do you wanna come over?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, I do." Like, that energy, that's
Hmm.
the energy. "Oh, I want" yeah.
Yeah.
But I forget to try to conjure that up sometimes.
And we've been so trained to use our heads, right? Like,
Yeah.
especially business stuff. Like, if you're sitting down putting an offer together, and I have the thing where I'm like, so I don't sit down. Like, when I'm creating, like, if I'm creating a new offer, or I want to write some piece of marketing, or, whatever it is, right? I won't sit in front of my computer because so many, 25 years of sitting in my computer thinking and like creating from that space or working from that space. When I sit in front of my computer and start typing, I'm instantly transported back into that, that very mental space. So I will like stand up and write on a piece of paper, or, I used to have whiteboards all over. So I'd stand up and like create on the whiteboard or dance around. Or my new
Yeah.
favorite thing is I make my husband drive me around and I just sit in the car and look at nature, or, laugh and talk and then jot things down. So it's
That's,
this
like,
idea of,
such a good
yeah,
idea.
yeah,
Maybe that's what's going on, 'cause get in position with my computer, and I go into that, back when I was, when was it? 30 years ago? 25 years ago? It's like, when I was just learning how to use a computer,
hmm.
and, not these computers we have now, but
Oh, I remember them.
and I got the job. They said, "Do you know how you do Word and Excel?" And I didn't have any idea what those were. I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I got this.
And I got the job, and then I'd have to stay after work, try practice and learn how to do it, right? So instantly when I go to set up anything, I do have that conjure up in my head. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Thinking.
when you sit at a computer, what do? Instantly your body like starts to like cave in on itself. So in
Yes.
terms of like energetics and all of that, you're so
Yes.
closed off. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty
The little things,
brilliant.
yeah.
So what do you think?
You tell me how it changed your life after the
I'm gonna tell you. I'll let you know. I'll check in the
yeah.
mail. Check in the mail.
Checking
Um,
the mail.
so what are some other ways, though, thinking about a vibrational match to what you want? What else do you suggest people do? Because that's a fantastic one. Like, you're talking about, like, kind of physiologically lining up with the energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and for me, I'll say this and then we can dive into like, actual things. But to me, it's like the physical body is the densest part of us, right?
Mhm.
And so if we often think about like mindset or energy work or, things like this. But if you can use your physical body, which is the most, you know, 3D part of you, right?
Yeah.
If you
Mhm.
can use that as the catalyst and make sure that your physical body is actually in a space of being in energetic alignment or being open to that, then the rest of it's so much easier. But when we try to start from the other end and work on our mindset and, like clear our energy and do all of that stuff, and then we get to our physical body last, for me, it seems so much harder to
I
that
never I
direction.
never get to my physical body.
Oh, yeah. See?
I I'm one that I do grounding, and I've
Mhm.
got my channel going. But it's so funny, even that's kind of relatively new. I had because I'm always in my head, I'm always up,
Yeah.
and I was working with this psychic mentor person, and she was like, "Close your eyes," and close my eyes. She's like, "Your feet touching the ground." I'm like, "No." She goes, "You're not grounded." I'm like, "Well, I could have told you that. I'm never grounded." Like,
Yeah.
but that's so interesting. So now I do kind of a self check with myself. Like, am I like, close your eyes. Do you feel like your feet are on the ground? Do you
Yeah.
do it? Do you?
No, they're on the couch.
Yeah. Well, mine are too right now. Exactly.
uh,
But
it's funny that you mentioned that though, because I was always I always thought I was super like in my physical, like before I really started on this journey or whatever. Like, and so when I did, and I'm an earth sign, so I always thought like
mm,
I'm super grounded, right?
okay.
But then when I was like working in the upper chakras and really opening up my channel and all of this stuff, and it felt really great, then I struggled to be grounded. So I think it's like, I don't know if it's that we're not ever like perfectly in balance, right? Maybe we're not ever like perfectly in alignment or perfectly like both,
Right.
all, or if that's the dance of like, how do I stay grounded and not at the same time?
Yeah,
Super
well,
interesting.
right, and I've never yeah, that's what I was saying, I've never really considered my body until just kind of this year. I mean, physically, as far as, like, energy-wise. It's so obvious too, like, it's the most obvious like you said, the most
Yeah.
dense part of us, the most obvious part of us. But, where my I'm a water sign, so where my mind always goes is into these real floaty, dreamy I'm a Pisces,
Mhm.
I'm all like
So is my
ideas.
husband.
That's so great, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a Taurus rising, so I'm not completely out to lunch, but,
Yeah.
there's a definite, the way like, I think intuitively, and you were saying earlier about these core limitations, limiting beliefs that we have,
Mhm.
and just to think intuitively, like, yeah, if you just accept them and notice them,
Yeah.
you don't really have to heal them.
No.
Just say
Because
that's
here's
a part of why I came here to Earth. I always thought soul wise, and who knows, I don't know, but like you pick your parents, you probably are picking your which battles you want to fight, like what
yeah.
lessons you want to learn, come with what challenges come from. So my particular parents would offer me a particular environment, and that would probably be a catalyst. So if on a soul level, if that's what you wanted, why would you fight against that or try to heal it? Like I'm like, just accept it and
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, and I think the healing thing, now, I have called myself a healer off and on for years because I can't come up with another word, right? That is understood by anyone but me. But I think there's a real problem with this healing thing because it's this idea that like there's something wrong with you. And if that's the core of what we're doing is based on the premise that there is something wrong with you, then we are always going to be trying to fix ourselves and we are never going to really experience true self-love and acceptance and understanding.
Well, I will admit this. I just recently changed my name to include the word healing, Lightwalker Healing,
Yeah.
because in my mind, I said people think they need to be healed.
Yes.
Once they get to me and they realize I tell them they don't need to be healed,
Yeah.
so it's not intentional. I wasn't an intentional marketing ploy, but it's kind of like
Yeah.
because I know what you're saying. How else do you define helping people with that
Yeah.
emotional stuff, right? It is healing, except that we know you're not really healing, but like they
Yes.
think they need that.
Yeah.
And if you're
Which
watching
is,
this, you know we're talking to you. You think you need it
but you don't.
because you're
I think that the,
suffering. I get
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's this like idea that we need to transcend who we are
Mm.
to somehow be somebody better or something different.
So what
And
if
I
you don't have
I
money?
believe that.
What are you saying to people if they really want money?
Accept yourself. Accept that you are worth money right now, that there is nothing about you that needs to be fixed so that you can have the money,
Mhm.
right? You are freaking limitless, powerful, like the same energy that creates worlds wrapped up in a physical body. The idea that somehow there's anything that could keep you from having something as simple as money is ludicrous.
Yeah.
And I completely understand it because I still, I'm still moving through it myself, right? It's not like I have billions of dollars in the bank, but the thing that I see the most, and I think this is the real like block, if you want to call it that,
Mm.
is the idea that we're not good enough or we need to fix something or we need to change something or we need to figure something out in order to have the money or whatever else it is that you desire, right? The moment when we fall in love with ourselves and accept ourselves and understand at a really core level that we're worthy and deserving of whatever it is our desire. Like our desires are not open for judgment. Whatever it is you desire, you deserve to have that.
Yeah.
And that to me is the key to receiving whatever it is that you want in life, including
That's like a
money.
drop the mic. I did see that you're doing this exciting, and if you watch this later, guys, it's probably gonna be over, but it's open till the 8th of August. You have this
Yes, I don't know
really
what I was thinking.
you have this insane that's what the portal, the big mama Stargate
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, okay, so
Yeah.
tell us about that because that looks very inviting, it looks exciting, but you're like, "I don't know what I
Yeah.
was thinking."
Well, 16 days of giveaways is kind of a long time, but
Yeah.
I'm having a great amount of fun with it. So basically what I'm doing is I was asking how I could like have more fun in my business for me.
Mhm.
Um, you know, grow, meet new people, all of that stuff, but also be giving back in a way that felt really good. So every day through the Lionsgate portal, the 8/8, August 8th, I'm giving away prizes. So the first day we gave away a prize package that was worth over $3,000. The second day it was
Oh,
$111.
this
You
is
know, it's
no joke. You're giving
this
away
is no joke.
$53,000 worth of stuff, so
Yes,
this isn't
yeah.
like, "Oh, win
It's a
$100."
huge giveaway. It's huge. And there's a grand prize at the end, which it's not too late to get on depending on when you see this, but there's a grand prize at the end, which is a 3-month
Well, I'm
VIP
putting
one-on-one
this out
coaching package
today.
with me.
Today's
Oh, awesome.
the 27th of
So there's still
July.
time.
So there's still
So
time. Tell people what to
yes.
do.
So the way it works, so go find me on my Instagram. You can tag me. You can put my
I
Instagram
put it
on
in
there,
the
right? When you
title
post
there,
it.
yes, it's at
Okay.
Erica J. Lester. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. So come find me on Instagram. Every 24 hours, I'm posting a new giveaway. The details are in the post on how you enter. And then every day we're giving away the daily prize. But then the more of those daily prizes that you do and enter, we're doing a grand prize drawing at the end for the person who has the most points. And that's it's a $20,000 one-on-one coaching package. So
Woohoo!
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Love
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh. So see, you don't have to win the lottery. You can just go to Erica's channel
you could win
and
the
win.
$20,000 plus.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
to win that. Abundance is everywhere. And I love that you're
Everywhere.
actually because you're giving that, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, you're like so brilliant.
Yeah. Reciprocity. I always mess up that word.
It's
The
all I've
universe
been
loves it.
yes, all day today, starting with Alison Deepak Chopra's
Mm.
21 Days of Abundance thing, right? And today was the day he talked about that what you I forget how now how he put it so eloquently, but what you give, you receive, right?
Yes.
I always say you get what you give.
Yeah.
Um, it's exactly that reciprocity. And so
Yep.
that's what you're doing, and other people now can benefit from it. So it's a beautiful thing. So yes, so I'm going to get this out right away, and so that everybody can come and be abundant with you.
Yay! Let's
We'll
be
have to do
abundant
this
together.
again. I know. I love talking about anything business, spiritual stuff, money, abundance, vibes. It can be about, I usually talk about these problems like procrastination and, you know, and FOMO. And this is funner. This is a
Oh
more
yeah.
fun topic.
Yeah. 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 I just like to talk. I just like to talk to people who are interested in the same things and are having conversations and are on the journey and like I would
Yeah,
do this. Well, I do this in my personal life when the camera's not on, just
yeah.
having interesting conversations that are actually worthwhile to help people, whether it's me and you or other people listening or whoever it is. So yeah, thanks for
I
inviting
love
me
it.
on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right. So thanks again, and I will see you soon.